Welcome to Myth and Kin, a travelogue podcast about the Witcher series. I'm Val, and I'm your host, and I'm joined by Sam.
Hello.
The other host of this year-plus-long journey of regret. I mean, most of it was not good.
I appreciate having context, but I understand that you're not having as much fun as I am.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. From the books to the games, we've explored the entire saga of the Witcher series so far, and now we're at the big one. I'm gonna do this instead of having to do this in post. This episode has a content warning for mentions of violence, suicide, homophobia, sexual assault, and the brutalization of women.
Don't forget miscarriage and abortion.
I think that falls under brutalization of women because of how it is contextualized.
Yeah.
God.
Well, I will say, this time, the plot is so much simpler than the last game so far.
Yeah, we also covered a lot less of a plot than an entire game.
Yeah, but, I mean, the entire, macro level plot of this game is just so much simpler because it's not so much about political sides against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that factors into, the game as a whole, but it's mostly Geralt trying to find Ciri.
Yeah, which is basically what the books were.
Yes, but basically, in this game, Geralt begins on the hunt with Vesemir, an old Witcher mentor. They begin looking for Yennefer and Ciri, and they spend a bit of time in White Orchard, basically tracking Yennefer because they hear some things about her. And as a result, she finds them, because of course.
Yeah, because Geralt is never allowed to actually have any agency in the weirdest twist on this fucking series. And, that's the weirdest thing is, they explicitly, every fucking single time, Geralt gets caught off guard by someone else's pursuit of him.
Yeah. So, Yennefer then takes Geralt to Vizima? It's Vizima, right?
Yeah, it's Vizima.
To see the Emperor of Nilfgaard, Emir van Emrys, which you may remember from the books.
As the daughter fucker.
Well, he doesn't actually do that.
He's still planning on it.
To. But he wants to have Ciri back. I think that the game kind of deliberately tries to omit those particular details from the book.
Yeah,
because
they still allude to it. It's not completely excised.
Yeah.
But Emir is just like, this is for matters of state, okay? Which,
See, I actually know why he wants her, and it's not that.
This time around.
Yes, but
That is the particular plot point that came to mind when that came up, though.
Yes, yeah. Because we have the context of the books, it's very much easy to get suspicious. And I think if I hadn't already played this, I'd probably be thinking that as well. So, Geralt is told to find Ciri by the Emperor and is given 3 leads to either search for Ciri in Velen, search for Ciri in Novigrad, or search for Ciri in Skellige. And because these are gated by level, some quests, each of these quests are what higher level than the other. We start with Velen, which is what we are covering in this episode.
Yeah. Technically, you can do them in any order if you're coming back on, New Game Plus. And they don't actually limit you at all, so if you want to skip around between areas, you can, but it's not really sensible to do that if you're starting from a fresh file.
Even if you're doing the easiest difficulty, I would not recommend it unless you are insane.
Yeah, no. The combat can be cheesed to a certain extent, but not to an extent that would mean you could start at a level 12 or 20 area at level 3 or 4. Yes.
I will say that the balance of this game, much like 2, it's they don't really know how to make the game harder as it goes on, so everything just gets really easy towards the end, and you kind of can end up feeling quite powerful.
Yeah,
even on hard difficulty, that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, they added I don't know if it was in at the start, but they added, to this one at least, an option to make every enemy scale to your level so that you're always challenged, which the hardcore idiots will go, yeah, I don't play without this. Only way to play, but it's an RPG. You're going to be curb stomping them. If you're good at the mechanics, it doesn't really matter what level they are, which is kind of demonstrated by me taking out several, like, level 20 enemies when I was level 9.
The thing is, if you can dodge an enemy very well, you manage fine. You just might have to be a little patient.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth it fighting those enemies, because it took, like, 15 minutes of annoying execution for basically a treasure unlock on the map, but, yeah.
Getting flashbacks to the golem boss in Witcher 1.
God. I still can't believe that was a fucking puzzle boss, and it was the worst puzzle boss.
I didn't even know it was a puzzle boss, so I just kept trying to hit it so many times.
I mean, it works better than the fucking intended solution.
So, through searching around, Geralt finds that he either has to speak with the Bloody Baron, who is the...
Oh, well, we should probably like, the contact he has in Velen is Hendrik.
Oh, yes. It's Hendrik.
Who is a Nilfgaardian spy posing as a merchant. You basically go to an inn at the crossroads, which is what it's called. Either get in trouble or don't with the Bloody Baron's men. But either way, you find out that Hendrik lives over the hill in a town called Heatherton. And you go there and it's pretty much all iced over and fucked up and no one's alive except for one person. And you find out that the Wild Hunt made an appearance and killed everyone and tortured the man you were meant to meet. And you search through his belongings and find his notes. And you find that Ciri was seen in the company of the Bloody Baron, the local baron, whose men you interacted with. And she was also seen quarreling with a witch. And those are your two leads that you get to follow through Act 1 for Velen.
Yes. So, if you... so, you can take both of these in any order. If you decide to pursue the witch, you meet Kira Metz, who, if you've read the book, you may remember her from there. She is one of the sorceresses, part of the Lodge of Sorceresses, and has to be in hiding, because the opening of this game basically sets up that... so the end of Witcher 2, there is a choice, which, to be fair, this isn't, like, seen before... Like, you don't get the option to choose this, but one of the choices results in magic users not being persecuted.
Yeah.
And at the start of Witcher 3, there is an FMV sequence that basically dictates that the Order of Flaming Rose is the Eternal Fire.
Yeah, different
Which
thing.
is what the Order of Flaming Rose was part of.
Not quite?
Well, the Eternal Fire is the religion they follow.
Okay. Well, like, yeah, the Order of the Flaming Rose is a game original thing that Radovid took under his wing and basically turned into witch hunters.
Yes, but the Order of the Eternal Fire basically espouses very similar beliefs to the Order of the Flaming Rose, in which they have to persecute all magic users and non-humans. So basically, as a result, magic users are being persecuted no matter what you did at the end of Witcher 2, which, like, fine. I guess they had a story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can, like, have in your 100-hour RPG that you can, like, have effective. So, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
But Kira Metz is one of the Lodge of Sorceresses in hiding, and basically through her quest, you end up finding this old elven sort of underground dungeon tomb thing in which you see some elven mage trying to direct Ciri, or warn Ciri. And through seeing some of that, you find that Ciri has ended up going to these other witches known as the Crones of Crookback Bog.
Yep.
So, you go and visit those. Well, you go and visit the swamp in which they are located, and there are 4 children there, and being looked after by an older woman, who is just referred to as Gran.
Yeah.
And basically, you just want to get them to tell you about Ciri.
Yep.
And so, you go through this whole thing of trying to... You find no one there's going to tell you anything, so you go off and find a godling who's lost his voice, get his voice back, and ends up going far enough, then you start talking to the crones, who ask you to do a task, which is to destroy this evil spirit in this tree. And you also have the option of not killing that evil spirit in the tree.
Yep.
But if you don't kill the spirit in the tree, you can save the children from the crones. Because presumably from how the crones act, they are going to eat the children.
Yeah.
Because they are witches.
And when you're working on the other side of this act, you find a moment with Siri, and you play through a segment where you meet a little girl who was told by her parents to follow the trail of treats. And this is a local thing where, like, basically children can be led into the swamp and they will find a trail of treats, which are like cookies and shit just laying on the ground that lead them to Crookback Bog. And they're illusions. They're just made up of like maggots and shit, but it will lead them away from their family and homes, and it will lead them to Crookback Bog. And
it's very Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, that is the myth I think they were gesturing at. So that happens, and it's very much like weird orphanage, quote unquote, in the swamp is probably going to be bad.
Yes, and pretty much for doing that, you for handling the spirit, they tell you what they did with Siri, what Siri did around there, and
which is run away after hearing that they were going to eat her or eat her feet, and then hand her over to the Wild Hunt. To
be fair, the theme of most of like finding out about Siri is she was here, but now she's not. So go to the next place.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have a very long game, I suppose, without that.
Yeah, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
And then you go investigate the other side, which I did first.
Yes, I did that second.
Yeah, I did Family Matters, which is the Baron, where basically you talk to the Baron, and he goes, okay, I've seen Siri, I hosted her here, I'll tell you more about her if you find my wife and child. So you go investigate, and this quest is just a mess.
I mean, I think I have opinions on this quest that may be slightly different to yours, but should we just go through the plot first?
Yeah, we should. Basically, you are tasked with finding Anna and Tamara Strenger. You search the rooms, you find clues to the last moments they were in the house, and then you talk to the Baron, and it turns out he was drunk the night they disappeared, so he doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
And then you ask him about a talisman you find, and you can go talk to a peller nearby, and a cunning woman, but basically you go talk to the peller, and you have to rescue a goat for this old fucking dude.
Aw.
Unavoidable.
Yes, it's not a hard quest.
It is fucking hilarious because it runs into a bear and Geralt's just like, run, you fucking idiot! Run! It's a bear! Fuck! It's very good.
Yes.
But once you return the goat, it helps with the ritual that the Peller needs to do to the augury, and he learns that through the spirits that Anna was pregnant and miscarried because of the abuse she suffered at the hands of the Baron. And the miscarried baby was buried and became a botchling, which is rough, to say the least.
Yes. So then you kind of have to... you can either perform a ritual to turn the botchling into a lubberkin, which is a guardian spirit, and the ritual requires... giving it a proper burial and a name. Yeah,
underneath the threshold of the house, and then or you can kill it,
or you can
and then you go back to tell the Baron, and he's lit his fucking stable on fire because he was a raging drunkard. Fucking
yes,
that just happened for no fucking reason.
Well, I don't think it's no reason. I think it's very much to establish how such a short temper he has. just kind of how irresponsible he is.
Yeah,
Which
really.
kind of has to be kind of... Yeah.
I say no reason, and I say that in the sense that, like, this is an extremely violent and gives you, like, an opportunity to save a stable hand or not for 20 crowns or not. But it's just like, this feels more like an opportunity for an arbitrary choice than, like, a reasonable moment of, like, show and don't tell for character development for this guy.
You do get to punch him, though.
Yeah.
So then you basically, through that, find out where his wife and child are. Because the Lubberkin, or if you killed the botchling, the Pella can also do this, will basically direct you to people who have talked with, or looked after the wife and child. And it turns out that, which I like...
They were basically spirited away by a fisherman.
Yes.
Who owed them a favor.
Yes, and so basically, but then the mother, Anna, was taken by the crones of Crookback Bog.
Yeah.
Because...
fiends specifically. Fiends are scary motherfuckers, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, they're just big, weird, like, I ran into one without expecting it, and I was just like,
oh, I did as well.
And it was level 22, and I was just like, I'm out of here. And their eyes glow and everything. It's awful.
Yeah. And Tamara Strenger, the Bloody Baron's daughter, is now working with the Order of the Eternal Fire.
In Oxenfurt.
Which
is a cool little area that I didn't get to explore much. Because, like...
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's a really nice, like, little... It's not a full city like Novigrad is probably going to be, but it is, like, a little more, like, civilized town. I guess it would be a city, because of, like, that level of, like, pavement and shit.
Yeah. I think the first time I played the game and came to Oxenfurt, I just walked slowly, because, like, especially the music that plays there is really nice. It's just kind of cool to be there.
It felt like I was in an alternate dimension where the game wasn't all swampland for like 5 minutes. Because I feel like that's The Witcher for me, is like swamplands and burning plains.
Well, the next segment of the game is going to be mostly city.
Yeah, Novigrad. But yeah, so you talk to Tamara. She's just like, yeah, no, I'm not going back there. That my dad's abusive as fuck. I have a better life here. And depending on where you are with other stuff, you can end up telling her that you know where her mother is, which I don't think is, yeah. But like, yeah, if you've done the Crones of Crookback Bog before this, you know that Anna is, from various clues put together from the fisherman who spirited her away, and a cutscene where she's like, basically, she has like a brand on her hand that burns like fire, and Geralt notices the similarity to the story that the fisherman tells, and he puts it together that Anna is Gran in Crookback Bog. And you can tell Tamara that, and she will go on her way to try and save her from Crookback Bog.
Yeah, but also, because you can also tell the Bloody Baron that she is there.
Yeah.
Then
there's a separate non-main quest thing you can go do to try and save her.
So basically, once you find out where Anne and Tamara are, then you can just end the quest there. You can just tell the Bloody Baron, they're here, I'm not going to find them, tell me everything about Ciri.
Yep, and he basically goes along with it. Because, like, that's all he asked of you, and a word once given, as you'll hear, like, 8 times in Act 1, Part 1. So, Ciri looked after the Bloody Baron looked after Ciri, kept her in for a bit, and she was well looked after. Became friends with all the mercenaries, and also won the Bloody Baron's prize mare.
Yes, but the Wild Hunt were on their way, and so, you know, she's like, no, I should leave.
Yeah, because
I can't stay here.
In the process of saving him from a basilisk, she warped.
Yes.
Pretty significantly, and she's just like, okay, that's going to fire up some Wild Hunt attention. I need to go. And that's pretty much it. And we're also going to talk about side quests A
Yes.
lot, because there's a lot.
There are a fair few.
And yeah, but like the side quest where you go back to Crookback Bog, aptly named Return to Crookback Bog, is where you can go help the Bloody Baron try and get his wife back. And Tamara can be there if you told her that Anna was there.
Not necessarily. Sometimes she will show up anyway.
Yeah.
She did in mine because I didn't tell her. I couldn't find her. Well, I basically just went to the Baron. I'm not finding them. You can do it yourself.
Yeah. But depending on what you chose when you took care of the spirit,
yes,
you have two outcomes.
It depends on what you chose or when you chose it as well. So if you handle the Bloody Baron quest first,
yeah,
or you do the spirit thing independent of handling the Crookback Bog quests.
Yeah, basically, if you don't know that there's children to save, the spirit won't offer to save them.
Yes.
But if you do, and you do that as part of the Crookback Bog quest line, it will be like, if you let me free, I'll save her, or I'll save them. And if you let the spirit go, Anna is cursed and turned into a water hag.
Well, the children are safe.
Yeah.
They are saved. And
if you do kill the spirit properly, Anna's just still under the crone's, like, mind control. And then Philip, Bloody Baron, decides, I'm going to take her to a hermit, and we're going to try and get this fixed, and he leaves his barony completely. So either way, he's just out.
Yeah. And if she's turned into a water hag, you do a small part of the quest to turn her back, but her being a water hag, she is also cursed that if you turn her away from being a water hag, she dies.
Yeah.
So she dies.
Yep, she dies. As a secondary thing, once you go back to Crow's Perch, because Bloody Baron's just like, go pick up your payment at Crow's Perch, I need some time alone. But you go do that and you find his corpse hanging from the tree, because he hung himself.
Yeah. That's pretty much the main section of Velen. There are a lot of various side quests. I liked the one where you find the fake Witcher.
I don't think I did that one. I didn't have time to do all of them, because there's a fuck ton of them.
The fake Witcher one is really short, or it can be really short, because you basically go to a town, and I can't remember which one exactly when it is, but you go there, and someone just sees you, oh, not another one of you. The one we got here is terrible. We don't want one like that again. And so you go, oh, well, where is this one? Maybe I'll go help him. And so you do, and
I found it. Like it's called Witcher Wannabe, and that's part of it. The Merry Widow must have been completed, and 5 in-game days must have passed, which is why I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, so you go find him, and he's just like fighting against like one random enemy. Not even like a strong enemy, just like a random...
It's a ghoul.
Like, it's a random ghoul. Which is like, yeah, that's fine. I can just handle this easily. And you find him and say, oh, thank God you're here. And you can be like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm a real Witcher. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And you can either out him or just keep it secret, but tell him, can you be more responsible? I outed him and basically had it so that, no, don't do anything with him, but he's got to leave. He's got to go.
God. So the side quests, probably like the only side quest that I was like, okay, this is kind of neat, was Fool's Gold.
Okay.
Which is like, it was added as free DLC. Basically, you wander into this village and these bandits are roasting a pig, and this guy from the village is just like, no, don't do that! That's bad! And the girl's just like, what the fuck are you doing? They're just like, we're roasting a pig, you want some? You can go, yeah, sure, or no. But eventually, like, you find out the fucking pigs are magic, and the entire village has been turned into pigs because they took some gold from an underground pig temple. So you get the pigs to the temple, you get the gold back to the temple, and it's just like, okay, that's really, really fucking stupid. And that's the sort of dumb bullshit I wanted. But you still also, at the end, get to tell people whether the guy who helped you out, who is also probably developmentally disabled, whether he gets to live or die, which is didn't need to happen.
Yeah. I like this game more than the previous two. I still like it a lot, but, like, it still, like, has issues. I would say it feels like there's some improvements on it, on, like, the kind of level of edginess. It's still The Witcher. It's still the same universe.
Yeah, and it, like, there's also the Kira Metz side quest chain with the Isle of Rats, or the Isle of Mice, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I have been beating this drum for ages about how, like, and I've talked to Leroy about this too, but, like, I feel like working in this setting necessitates accepting there is literally a secret cabal of women that have, like, international and global conspiracy level power over everything, and thus women as a whole kind of get the shaft constantly.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could just go down the list of fucking or secondary quests I did, but, like, Death by Fire, you come across this fucking random house, and these people are burning an elf woman inside alive. And you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, she wouldn't give us her money, so we burned her alive. And you save her, and she's just like, you can have my money, I guess. It's 20 crowns. And it's just like, fucking 20 crowns? What? And then there's stuff like Wild at Heart, which is, like, I don't know, man. There's so many different ways this quest could have gone and still had the same conceit of one of these people is secretly a werewolf, and had it not suck as much.
Yeah, no, that quest isn't great.
Because basically the premise of Wild at Heart is a hunter is looking for his missing wife. You go to track her last known location. Her sister comes out and is like, hey, you should stop looking into this. And you can either take the bribe or not, or you can take the bribe and continue investigating anyway, which I did because free money. But you find this hut in the middle of this cabin in the middle of the woods with a cave underneath it, and you go in there and you go, yeah, this is probably a fucking werewolf. So you go in there at night, you beat up the werewolf, and the sister comes in and goes, no, stop! You don't need to kill him! And if you let her talk about shit, she's just like, this is the hunter, you don't need to kill him. And it turns out she was jealous of her sister for getting to marry this guy, so she led her into the woods and tried to scare her with a werewolf, but whoopsie, she died.
Oh.
And then you can either let her live or let the werewolf kill her. Either way, the werewolf dies because he asked to be put down afterwards if you let her die. So it's just like, this fucking quest is too much. And I feel like there's either that school of stuff, or there's the completely benign, like, there's a dude by the side of the road who was tied up by people for being a deserter, he says, but it turns out he's a fucking bandit because all the deserters turn into bandits. And you can just let him die. Or Bitter Harvest, where you protect people who are looting corpses on the battlefield. It's just, like, extremely inoffensive stuff like that. Or women getting shafted by fantasy.
Yeah. No, it's. I feel like there's steps to try and improve it, but in some ways it's not enough of an improvement.
Yeah.
Like the whole Bloody Baron quest, I feel like in any of the other games, they would have tried to force it so that, like, Anna Strenger had something wrong with her. She was kind of evil and would twist it, but, like, it's very clear that there's a side to take. That, like, no, the Bloody Baron's just a shitty person, and these are normal people that he's ruining the lives of. So you should just not, like, have to go, well, which one's actually worse? You have to make it up for yourself. And I think, like, it's very much like, because, like, the botchling isn't just, like, some random edgy monster, I kind of feel, because it's just kind of, like, representative of, like, the neglect, because the botchling doesn't happen specifically as a result of miscarriage, it's more neglect of what happens afterwards. And, like, I feel like that's kind of, like, it's still focused on the male side from his point of view and Geralt's point of view, and it's still, like, very much about women's pain. It's still centered around that in a way that's kind of like turns them into only seen as victims or conspirators in some other quests, but it's very much in a way trying to understand that these people feel pain and loss in a way that isn't just as a means. So she doesn't try to take revenge on the Baron either, and I think that's kind of them trying to kind of take it a bit more seriously, but I don't think they quite
managed it.
Manage it to some degree. I think they manage it a lot better than previous games, and I still kind of appreciate what kind of they've done, but...
Yeah, the thing is, Leroy linked a thing, fucking Patrick Klepek, I'm not gonna shit-talk him too much, but, like, he wrote a thing on Kotaku in 2015 about the Bloody Baron quest, and it has some commentary on it from the writer behind it, and some of the lines include, "It means not everything Geralt touches turns to gold. Not every story he's involved in has to have a happy ending." And I feel like none of the writers fucking talk to each other, because nothing Geralt touches has a happy ending, and that's my problem with most of this series. Like, usually when I like grim fiction, it's because there's a spark of hope somewhere in the writing, and it feels like this is just a bunch of quest givers that are about to soak in their own misery with every fucking twist. And, like, I think Leroy said it at one point, but, like, the whole, like, twist on a tropey fantasy thing only really hits hard when there's something to contrast against, and The Witcher doesn't really have anything to, like, contrast this really grimdark shit against.
Yeah. It's a problem with, the kind of source material to work with, and it's I feel like the people that were kind of, it's a shame that those people aren't necessarily working on another CD Projekt Red game. The people that sort of wrote all the quests that kind of feel a bit more like different or left CD Projekt.
Yeah,
they're all working on Dying Light 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a small nod to Dying Light.
Yeah.
That game is something I looked at and went, maybe when it's cheap.
Yeah. Same. I haven't played Dying Light 1, so yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just like, I feel like that's a lot of the issue. And also, like, they definitely could use the botching as, like, more of a metaphorical, like, stand-in for, like, emotion and suffering, but they clearly don't think on that level of writing. And I don't mean that, the botchling by itself would be an interesting focal point for a story set in the Witcher universe, written by a less fucking misogynist team. Because I feel like the pain of such a tragic event as miscarriage made manifest into a monster is kind of the whole thing with, like, monsters in fiction as metaphors for things.
Yes.
Like, vampires aren't just vampires and they're scary because they're vampires. They can be used to stand in for other things, like various aspects of, like, feudalism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like, it just feels like they don't know how to use things in that way because, I don't know, I feel like a lot of writers just don't process things on anything but the literal and wanting to make something cool. And I'm bad at that too, but, like, oof.
Yeah, no, it feels like there's, like, maybe, like, it's a few steps away from being really good. They could maybe take certain aspects out, and I don't want to play, like, backseat writer or, like, armchair, like, game writer, because I don't write video games. That's not my job. I've never written a video game, so I can't say, oh, this is how you do it. But I feel I know what's wrong.
Yeah. There's always kind of, like, a counterpoint to, like, armchair theory or armchair writing for stuff is like, well, if you're so much better at this, why don't you do this? And to that I say, A, it's already done. You can't, like, retroactively put me in the writer's chair. B, there are major differences between the skill set of being critical of media and being able to produce media effectively.
Yes, if I had the opportunity to do the job of these people writing the Witcher series, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'd try to do something.
Yeah.
But I do not have that exact opportunity, and the level of game I would probably try and end up making would be very different.
Yeah. You mentioned before that it's a lot of it is still focused on the male side of this tragedy of miscarriage, and that's not incorrect. That's really the problem I have, a lot of it. And even though I'm pretty sure the quest writer is a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name is Carolina Stuckeria. So...
Yes, it's also just that, like, so when you do perform the ritual on the botchling to turn it into a lubberkin, like, Philip Strenger, the body baron, like, he has his moment of saying goodbye to the miscarried child, naming it, and just having the opportunity to just put it behind them. But, like, his wife doesn't get that. She either ends up in a really bad state or dead.
Yeah. It's just really rough to see this. Like, I really wanted this story to be given the gravitas it deserves, and in some minor respects, it doesn't. Like I made some fucking, wow, this game has a dead baby joke in it tweets, but, like, also, it doesn't make a joke out of it. It's just kind of like, it feels that, like, with everything else this series has done, adding a dead baby monster is just, like, a little too much. Ugh. And
I wanted... sorry, no, Karen.
No, I don't know what to say. I'm just babbling.
Yeah, but I wanted to move on to something a bit slightly less serious, which was the quest I kind of found neat was the side quest where you encounter Letho.
Yeah, that was also interesting, not super deep.
Yes. See, this is probably maybe galaxy braining a little bit, but I feel like that quest is kind of a dig at the first game.
Huh.
Because, right, so Letho was working for Nilfgaard. For those who don't remember, Letho is the Witcher who was the titular assassin of kings.
Yeah.
In Witcher 2. He was working for Nilfgaard, and then after the events of Witcher 2, Nilfgaard decided we don't need Letho anymore. So they've sent a bunch of people up to kill him. And you find Letho dealing with these bandits trying to kill him. It's quite fun because you just find, like, there's nothing to point you towards Letho. You just sort of explore around and you find, like, this abandoned
Actually, there is a thing that points you towards Letho.
Oh, well, I didn't find it.
There's a contract you can do for the house, or the fall of the House of Rearden.
Oh, I did that after the Letho quest.
Yeah, if you meet an old lady in Lindenvale named Dolores, she's like, yeah, can you, like, go clear out my old estate of, like, all the monsters? And if you don't have Letho alive in your world, you have to actually clear out the wraiths. But if you have Letho, he does it for you. And then when you come across that, you'll be like, okay, wraiths don't need traps. What is this tripwire doing here?
Yeah. I like, my favorite thing with the traps is using the Ard spell. Just like the big massive force and just springing all the traps at once.
My favorite thing was not springing any of them and having Letho go, oh, good. You didn't step on any of my traps.
I didn't step on any of them.
I mean, he's just like, age hasn't slowed you down one bit. And then you're just like, yay, I did a good by not tripping all these traps.
He says it in his weird, terrible
Texan
American accent. Well, because, like, the thing is like, Geralt's accent is put on, like, it's fake. Like, he learned to do a Rivian accent.
Yeah.
And, like, it feels like Letho is halfway there.
Yeah, except he decided to pull from Texas instead of fucking anywhere in the world that he exists in. God, what a weird southerner. But yeah, basically, you go help him out with his pursuers, and then you get to a point where he gets shot with a crossbow bolt and goes down, and you can basically help out by fighting, or you can not, and they'll go, we're gonna take his head, and Geralt's just like, no, take his medallion instead. That's enough. Because it turns out Letho isn't fucking dead. He just paid the fucking arbalister to shoot him with a poison. And then you can either send him on his merry way or tell him to go to Kaer Morhen.
Well, the way that quest can also go is you can go, hey, why did you kill Letho? I'm going to take my revenge and kill all of you.
Yeah.
And it turns out you've killed all the witnesses.
Yeah, but no one cares at Kaer Morhen.
So, and
that's
not
how
what I
mine
wanted.
ended up.
So Letho was like, why did you do this? I told you to stay out of it. And Geralt's like, how the hell was I supposed to know that? Which is very much how the stuff like the autopsy in the first game goes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a little galaxy brain, but I understand what you're digging at. It's also, like, the most important thing to have a save for, because, like, the world state simulation isn't quite accurate, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway.
So, yeah, that was kind of neat.
That was neat, but it was just, like, extremely, just, like, I was going to do, this mention clear out, and whoops, odd reference. Hooray. Also, that quest is actually kind of fucked up.
Oh, really?
Because the Fall in the House of Rearden, you can just deal with the wraiths and go talk to the lady and be like, hey, cool, this is sorted. Or you can sniff around and find out that basically her lover fucking Cask of Amontillato'd her brother into a wall.
Ooh.
And just straight up killed him that way. And you can tell her that, and she's just like, oh, that's fucked up. Well, they're both dead. I'm gonna go live and be old. And she lived happily there for the rest of her days. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and I guess there's the Ronvid of the Small Marsh side quest. That's kind of funny. The dumb knight trying to challenge you to fights.
I think this is a reference to Don Quixote. I have not read Don Quixote, but Ronvid of the Small Marsh was a very inept yet persistent young knight stalking Geralt of Rivia.
It's very funny because it's just like he comes up to you and he's like, I challenge you for the honor of this woman, and like Geralt is like, I'm not gonna like take this. I don't even know who this woman is. And then he's just like, you dare insult her? I definitely challenge you. And so you fight him and you do like one hit and he's like, no, I yield, stop, I have to go.
Yeah. The girl he mentioned is named Bilberry, and there's a notice board post that mentions a young girl named Bilberry has died at 4 years old. Oh. So people in the comments on the wiki.
Let's not read the comments.
I mean, let's not read the comments, but some of them have a little more insight, like the fact that it's fucking Don Quixote.
Yeah.
Some people theorize that Ronvid is running around trying to honor her memory by defeating all the knights.
Huh. When you said, like, comments on a wiki, alarm bells kind of rang.
Yeah, I know.
I just generally assumed it would have been much worse than that.
No, don't worry. They're fucking worse. Like, on the... Did you pick up Defender of the Faith? There...
God. Oh, God!
The lady who wants the shrines fixed.
And you go to the last shrine, and it's a load of fucking, like...
atheists.
Like, atheists who read Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Trivia. A number of references may exist in this quest to philosophical and religious figures and works. Overman may reference Friedrich Nietzsche's concepts, especially when Friedrich Oxenfurt is mentioned. God is dead is a quote attributed to him, and religion is the opium of the masses is attributed to Karl Marx. But yeah, there are 21 comments on this fucking thing, and a lot of them are fucking whining about atheists being idiots.
Wow.
Yeah, in discovering that and looking at other stuff and wondering whether the, like, just really bad distaste for women baked into this setting was, like, something to do with the culture, I discovered that Poland is 87.5% Roman Catholic. So... literally, probably, it is. I'll show you I'm going to send you a picture.
Oh boy, this was great for audio medium.
Yeah, no.
Oh wow.
That's the pie chart of religion in Poland. If you want to Wikipedia that, you'll see it. The top is 87.5% Roman Catholicism.
Wow.
So yeah, there might be a little, biblical distaste for women kind of etched into this, just a little.
Yeah, I cannot, to be fair, I have, no, experience with, Roman Catholicism. I am too far removed from,
that's fair.
The only religious family members I have are Protestants.
Yeah, for a time I was an edgy internet atheist, and it's just kind of amusing to watch that sort of person proclaim this as the greatest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, no, I'm an edgy atheist person. I read Richard Dawkins, and
I didn't go that far, but I was definitely binge watching atheist videos on YouTube, and that was awful. I'm glad.
I just read books.
Yeah,
I never watched atheist YouTube videos. I am so glad I never did.
Yeah, I'm glad I burned that YouTube account so I don't have it in my history. Okay, there are a couple things I want to talk about before we definitely settle for being done with this episode. It's getting a little long in the tooth.
It's surprising. I didn't think we'd get so much out of a small-ish section of the game, but really, I think I've spent about as much time on this one part as I did on Witch 2.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only put 18 hours in, which is a little shorter than Witcher 2 for me.
I'm going on my Good Old Games Galaxy time, which was apparently...
I was going on my Steam time, so it wouldn't have counted recording and stuff, or reloading and stuff. Anyway, so I mentioned homophobia at the start of the episode. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a quest line and the political climate in the prologue, because I'm thrilled by fucking this shit. So basically, when you're in the prologue, you're in White Orchard, and in order to get any information about Yennefer, which leads to the end of the prologue, you have to hunt a griffin. You go to the Nilfgaardian captain nearby, and because he has seen Yennefer and is willing to give you help in return for that, and he points you towards an herbalist named Tamira and what's his name? A hunter named
Neelan?
No, that's the Wild at Heart guy.
Yes, that's the other hunter.
Yeah, right. Mislav.
Yes.
That's his name. Basically, and also there's a side quest called Contract Devil by the Well, which basically has you handle a Noonwraith, which is a familiar from the first game, where that was a main story beat. But you go handle the Noonwraith, and you investigate this village that's been razed to the ground. And this Noonwraith is basically fixated on a well in the middle of the town, which is the well you're trying to clear out the town so this guy can go get water from. You clear her out by finding the bracelet in the bottom of the well she's attached to, burning it, putting the Noonwraith out of her misery. In the process, you come across some journals leading up to her date of death and the violent act of her village being razed to the ground that prompted her to become a Noonwraith. And she made a remark about the Lord's son. We'll come back to that. But in the main quest, you get sent off to the herbalist and the hunter, the royal hunter from the Lord's domain. And Mislav, the hunter, is pretty much exiled from the village, and you can ask him what's up with that, and he goes, well, I'm weird, and they don't want any part of me, and Geralt's just like, I'm weird too, and Mislav's like, I'm gay, and they caught me with the Lord's son, and the Lord's son hung himself for being outed, and that drove the Lord to drinking and his domain to ruin, and... yeah, if you talk to Tamira about the village that was razed to the ground, you find out it was called Hovel. Not great, but Claire, the woman who became the Noonwraith, apparently made a snide remark about the Lord's son. So this lady just made some homophobic fucking remark about this Lord's son while he was still grieving and trying to get this village back under his control respectfully when he went there. And he was just like, no, you're fucking dead. And, yeah, no, this entire thing is just really unfortunate because it's like Detmold was gay and a villain and also in the Scoia'tael side is burned to death. And there was a bunch of shit with fucking Philippa Eilhart in Witcher 2, which was also not great, because she really didn't need to get her eyes spooned out in front of Geralt and the player. Yeah, it's just really fucking disheartening to deal with this series and talking about anyone queer.
Oh, of course.
I feel like this game, no offense to you, Sam, but I feel like this game is a lot easier to take as, like, a quality game the more privilege you have, because goddamn.
As a straight white middle class male, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't mind being called out on it.
Yeah, it's just like it really fucking grates, and I wasn't expecting to just stumble across this beautifully interlocking lore surrounding this political climate in the prologue of the game, centered around a man being gay and his lover killing himself for it. It's not good.
It's the thing is, it's like you get a bunch of I don't like this trope either a lot either, because it's very much like, because it's like Life is Strange has the same thing where it, spoilers for Life is Strange, it's one of the results can end up being a lesbian relationship with one of them ends up dead.
Yeah.
Potentially. That's a choice you can make. And it feels very clear that it's the only ending they actually wrote for, because the other one feels really rushed together.
Yeah.
And it's tiring, especially tiring because it feels like someone has thought they're doing like something better by including characters like that in the story, and because tragedy happens in real life, like homophobia is still real, and that's like people do have to deal with that. But like for the fact that like these characters can't exist as in the same way that a straight person would in a story, like repetitively, is a real shame for a lot of this. And I think this is definitely an example of it being done particularly badly.
Yeah, it's just like, honestly, I would have been more happy with less fucking representation if the only option for them in this plot is tragedy. It's kind of like sometimes you'd rather a story not have any women in it just so they can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because they will probably fuck it up. And like, that's, it's just depressing to think about. Also, fuck, there was another quest in the prologue that was just like, really, yikes. Are you also thinking of the arsonist one?
No, I was just gonna say, I think this game could have done without the prologue.
Yeah. Prologue is like, search for Yennefer. Oh no, she found you. Here's the game now. I guess it's like a tutorializing thing, and it gives you...
Yeah. It gives like a microcosm of what the game eventually becomes, but like you could have just put people in the game, tell them the direction to go. There's a mini map. There's
a separate
breadcrumb trail on the map,
like vignette where you get a tutorial with Syrian stuff. The arson quest I'm talking about in the prologue is basically a dwarf blacksmith had his forge burned to the ground because he was working for the Nilfgaardians for no pay, and the local villagers thought he was getting rich off their suffering because there's a bunch of loyalists in the village. So one of them got pissed drunk and fucking burned his forge down. And you find him out, and you can either rat him out or not. And if you rat him out, you take him back to the dwarf, and the dwarf is just like, hey, Nilfgaardians, hang this man. They do. And then the dwarf's just like, yeah, maybe the Nilfgaardians' order will be good for these people. Big yikes.
I don't think that's like the necessary, I'm not like, there's a small like notice I found on Nilfgaard, and like it's hard to tell because it's very neutrally placed. There's no actual point made on it. The Nilfgaardians are offering rations and food to the poor, but only if you can prove that you're poor, which is very much like kind of like means tested benefits in the UK, and that's kind of a very loaded thing of like proving that you're poor, or like it's very much like a whole thing is like, well, how can you be poor if you've got an iPhone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, because, like, there's no actual statement made on it, it's hard to tell where the game necessarily sits on it. Also because it's just, like, a universe detail on, like, how Nilfgaard is. And, like, it doesn't make any, like, so far, make any big grand statement on, like, whether Nilfgaard is actually good or not. They're just an invading force, and everyone hates them, but, like, the situation in the places that they are invading is also not very good, and it kind of exists in this, like, violent world where everything is kind of bad.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, is because the world is just so grim and dark in general, like, there's no appreciable difference, and, like, maybe that's the point of, like, writing it this way, but there's no real appreciable difference between the lands covered by Nilfgaard and the lands that are still free-ish, especially because basically everything has gone tits up because of, like, everything with the political situation. Temeria is gone, Redifid's going nuts with the witch hunts, like, there's a bunch of stuff going on in No Man's Land, Velen. The crones are vying for, like, power in threatening to kill everyone or take over the world or whatever. Everyone is trying to break even.
Yeah, I suppose, like, in some way, it's you could kind of argue, like, it's trying to say that no matter who changes power, for the little guy at the bottom, nothing's going to change.
Which is, like, maybe that's true in the setting, but it's not very fucking encouraging for external politics.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, because it doesn't really do anything to, like, tackle that or, like, give the opportunity. Like, what if someone actually tried to tackle the actual inequality within the world of The Witcher, but it just exists in a constant state of, well, the elves are always subjugated by the humans because they used to live here, but they're taken away from their lands, and there are people out there that still don't like dwarves and all sorts of other non-humans, and I imagine, like, the thing with this before is there's, like, always been distance between each game for me before, but now that seeing it all in one go, it feels even more kind of downbeat. And I think I still like this game, and, like, I still, like, personally enjoy it, but that's a different matter to actively going out and, like, championing this game, because I don't feel like I'm necessarily going to as much, because this game isn't perfect in a lot of ways, and I know I'm gonna have fun with it, but, like, I'm not gonna tell people that, like, this is like the perfect thing that they want, because in all honesty, it's not.
Yeah. The problem is, for me in particular, I'm particularly averse to believing extended periods of, like, critical or, like, not critical, but, like, social success for media. And I mean that by, like, I've seen, like, 4 different people call Witcher 3 the greatest RPG ever made, and that made me deeply skeptical for the last 3 years, and I don't think that skepticism was unfounded, but it's gotten worse than I thought it would, and, like, it's just really tiring.
I think games culture as a whole tends to latch on to, like, it doesn't stop, because, like, I mean, I haven't played God of War or, like, Red Dead Redemption 2, because those games don't appeal to me, because they just, and Spider-Man as well kind of looks like it sort of feels like, to me, it's kind of cut from the same sort of, like, games I've played before.
Yeah, and I can't blame you for that. The only reason I really like Spider-Man is because I have a deep-seated tolerance for open world stuff and, like, collectathons in that vein, and the movement tech in that game was fun enough looking that I felt like I wanted to play it. But, like, I definitely understand.
Yeah, no, you've got a tolerance that you're streaming Assassin's Creed games.
All of them.
You should watch Val stream some Assassin's Creed.
Don't.
Please do. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to follow through with it. I might also do the DS and PSP games.
Ooh.
Because those are completely different and, like, completely irrelevant, really.
From a different era, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, no.
But the point I was just generally making was that, like, the games culture is very much wrapped around hyperbole, and, like, God of War just seems like another sad dad video game.
Yeah.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 just seems like more Rockstar game.
But with horse balls.
Yes, realistic ones.
Video game culture has this problem of hyperbole, and it's either god-awful trash or the best thing ever. And I know it's not like a very contagious meme for me to say and put out there, but I really wish people would be more chill about shit. Like,
yeah,
every time someone's just like, what's your favorite game? I'm just like, I don't know. I have games I like, and I can go on and on about stuff I like about them and stuff I don't like about the games I dislike, but I don't have a favorite. There's no, like, pedestal I put anything up on. I just talk about why I like things I like instead of trying to pursue, like, some platonic ideal. And I think that's why I got into criticism more, because game crit is about not just putting things on a pedestal and not examining them.
I think it's also, it's why I've, like, often retreated to just, like, picking up older games, or, like, less games with, like, a little less attention on them, because, like, it just feels good to, like, be far removed from the kind of crazy, wild reactions to things.
Yeah.
And it's, because I used to review games, and I think there are games critics out there that are a bit better about this, but I found it a little too easy sometimes to just sort of fall into modes of saying that, well, this is the best thing ever. I have some dumb thing. Well, I've reviewed Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, and I said this is the game Deus Ex wants to be, which is the fucking
Sam?
dumbest shit I've ever written.
Oh my god. That I didn't know that. That's a lot.
My 10 out of 10 review for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which I don't know if I'd, like, give it a 10 out of 10. In fact, I don't like scores. That's the thing. Because you attach things to a score, it's weird. I don't know. I think the game that, like, broke me for this was, like, Legend of Legacy, where, like, I don't hate that game.
Yeah, I remember reading you talking about it a lot.
I wasn't, like, in love with it, but it was just such a weird game, and just, like I gave it a 5 out of 10 because, like, I have no idea what to make of this game. And that game doesn't work for a review setting, because that's just not how I can play that game. I still come back to it and just, like, chip at it a little bit, because it's just that sort of thing that works well for me. And it's just, that game's stuck in my head so often, and I don't quite know why.
And does that mean it deserves a higher score? Who knows? Like, there's also the problem with scores of, like, are you going to go with the review score or, like, the actual score? Because if you're on a review score, 7 to 10 means you're, like, failing. Because,
it's also just, like, hard to, like, how do you write a review and a score? And, like, it's also just because I was writing for a place with other writers, so I try to maybe keep in tone with other people a little, and it's just, do I write the score for other people? Do I write the score for myself? But what is my like actual score? And, like, it's an arbitrary number. That's all it is. Yeah,
and especially with shit like I don't think you were working for any place that, like, got significant enough to be, like, Metacritic, this will influence people's bonuses day one shit for, like, huge games. Like, I don't know if you were in the position to, like, do Fallout New Vegas or something to that equivalent, but, like, when people's bonuses write on that shit, it feels like there's guilt involved, and that's no good.
It's definitely why, I definitely feel that factors into why a lot of, like, places do unscored reviews.
Yeah,
now.
Like, I really appreciate that too, because, like, if I want to find out about a game, I either look up for an unscored review and see what they actually have to say about the game, or I talk to people I know who I can trust to, like, be honest about themselves talking to me as a person, not as an audience member. Because there's very different modes of speaking and very different modes of thought and discussion of that stuff. So, like, yeah, and I totally get it. And, like, Witcher 3, back on topic, has been pitched as, like, it has 250 awards, it's the best RPG ever. And I'm just like, okay, that means the bar is very low. I don't mean to be mean about that, but I feel like that's true.
Well, the industry has a habit of being, like, focusing very recent, being kind of forgetful, and also just, like, again, it's hyperbole, it's, whether it's well marketed, and I don't know, I don't feel like Witcher 3 was well marketed. Some of that marketing was kind of terrible.
Yeah. I also do want to say, like, technical side of things, sure, this game is, like, great. All the, like, you really forget the seams that you can see, or, like, like, there was a video or two on how Mass Effect Andromeda's animation was, like, all fucky, and a lot of it was, like, they basically have a bunch of preset animations, and they meld them together, and then, like, customize, like, lip flaps and, like, stuff based on the scene as it happens. And, like, you can ignore the seams in this game, and it looks pretty, and all the character designs are pretty neat.
It's a very playable game as well.
It's a very playable game. I made sure to bind my hide UI button so I could take pretty screenshots of, like, the sunset and like the sky when it's windy and raining, and the world is coming down around me with fucking rain and thunder. But, like, it's just, like, that's the skeleton, and the muscles that pull the skeleton around are not great, in my opinion. And we're only, like, a fifth of the way into this.
Yeah, it's taken, like, much quicker than I assumed it was going to, but then again, I played on a much harder difficulty where everyone had more health and did more damage, and I died a lot more.
Yeah, that EXP versus damage and health and shit chart was disheartening, and I wouldn't want to see it if I wanted to play on a higher difficulty.
I think even like the EXP difference, like you still end up like over leveled.
The EXP thing is funniest to me because it just means you do like 1 or 2 extra quests to get a level. And you're going to be doing all the quests anyway because that's what this game is. So it makes me laugh. It's not like Persona 5 where the hardest DLC difficulty and everything drops your EXP by a lot, and that's a significant portion of the game is gaining experience in combat. This is more like, okay, you're going to be doing a lot of small things that will pile up experience, and the actual scale of experience doesn't shoot up that much.
Yeah.
So... yeah, as long as you're doing things that are on level, which would actually be easier to do with 80% experience because you won't overlevel the main story, yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah, if you do everything and playing on the harder difficulties, you still overlevel.
Yeah, I think the EXP in particular is just, like, silly and didn't really need to be added. But yeah, like, between that and the fact that you can get skill points by searching for places of power, which means you can have, like, a zillion skill points... roughly. Yeah. And you're mainly limited by your level in terms of how many skills and mutagens you can equip. Unless you're playing it on hard and you're getting ganked by bandits because they will ambush you and kick the shit out of you. It's not a terribly difficult game, and it is a lot easier if you can do basic action stuff. But like accessibility wise, I would still probably put it fairly low accessibility. But it's doable. It's not hard.
Yeah, I'd also say that, like, there's been patches to, like, adjust things on this game.
Yeah.
And like, especially, like, the movement in its initial version was really weird. Like, Geralt just moved weird.
Yeah.
And if you see in the options, there is, like, a difference between, like, alternate and original movement for Geralt. And, like, there was a lot less tooltips. Inventory management was a lot more of a hassle because everything had much more weight.
Yeah, now basically anything that's not equipment doesn't have weight.
Yeah, whereas everything had weight originally, which was a nightmare to deal with. But I quickly found a mod to just remove weight limits, which broke when they patched the weight for essential items out, which was fine.
Yeah. Also, there every time I booted up that game, the storybook sequences fucking killed me.
Oh.
They take so goddamn long, and they're just hiding loading screens. So, of course, there's a mod that just stops them.
The thing, like, they play out during the course of the game.
Yeah, but also every time you load in.
Yeah, every time you load in. But, like, I feel like they could have served as, like a useful, like, recap screen during a load screen or something. But they don't really. It's just kind of a quick thing of, this is what Geralt's doing now.
Yeah.
And then just a line or two. I think they could have done at least a little more with that.
Yeah. It's just very irritating as it is, and unless you come back from a long break, you're probably going to remember what you're doing. And also, all the quests in the journal are basically annotated as if Dandelion is writing about them after the fact. So you can just read those if you're, like, really hurting for an understanding of what you're doing. We should talk about Kira Metz and the Isle of Mice.
Yes.
Because we were going to do that like half an hour ago. Whoops.
Maybe more.
So basically, after you help her out in the main story for hunting a witch, she goes back to her witch's hut, and you can go talk to her, and she found a magic lamp, which lets her talk to ghosts, or rather, listen to ghosts. In particular areas where ghosts are trapped. And she's just like, okay, you're going to take this and you're going to go to Fyke Isle, which is an island in the middle of a lake in Velen. And that is neat until the end.
Yes. See, using the lamp to just sort of see, like, ghosts and see them talk, it's very walking simulator-y, and it's kind of, like, fun to just have that kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
But then it goes a bit too edgy.
Yeah. Basically, you go... It's a little bit audio log in, like, The Witness kind of thing, where you go to an island, and there's stuff you can listen to, and you eventually climb this tower on this island, and you go up to the top, find a secret laboratory that the mage who is in the tower holed up in. His name is Alexander. He was researching the plague, the Catriona plague from The Witcher 1. And in listening to the ghosts, you find that basically a horde of peasants invaded the island seeking food because they had no food of their own, and they assumed that the lord who was staying there with the mage, I think, had food because he's a noble. So, and in the process, they're also just like, also, we're going to rape his daughter! And that happened, and by that happened, I mean, they said that some shit happened. Basically, you go up to the top, you find the laboratory, and the Lord's daughter, Annabelle, is there, and she reacts to you, which none of the other ghosts have done. And she tells you that basically she was in the laboratory, and the mage had given her a potion to drink in case of emergency. So the room fills with peasants, she drinks it. It turns out it's a sleeping potion, but everyone thought it was poison, and she died. And she wakes up, and she is warm meat in this tower full of plague rats, and she is eaten alive. So, she is, because of this fucking traumatizing experience, she is turned into a ghost, and Geralt goes, well, it's the curse on this island is probably centered around you, and because it was born of hate, only love can break it. So she's just like, well, we'll take my body to my love, Graham, who I was going to run away with. If you do, you can talk to him and give her bones to him. And he's just like, okay, thank you. We'll give these a proper burial. Then you walk outside and you hear the sound of his fucking body getting torn apart by rats. And then you go back in, and it turns out she was a ghost, a bad plague ghost called the Pesta. If you intuit this from the fact that there were significant wounds on the most recent corpses on the island that wouldn't be caused by ghouls or neckers or rats, Geralt's just like, I'm not gonna take you to that guy. Especially because cursed bones leaving anywhere is probably a bad idea. And then she fights you. And then you get Graham to go with you. He kisses her to break the curse. He dies. She passes on. This is a lot, but it's all kind of necessary. And then you tell Kira, and she's just like, oh, okay, cool. I'll come back. We'll do a thing. And then you go help her out by looking for a wagon. She ordered fancy foodstuffs. And then she wine and dines Geralt. You can have sex with her Either way, she puts you to sleep and runs to the laboratory to steal the notes on the plague. So she wants to get out of hiding by handing over a vaccine to the plague to Radovid. Geralt, with his fucking dick of diplomacy, can convince her to not do that because she'd die. And if you let her go, she dies. But
damn,
if you hey, you don't need to do that. You'll die. You know Radovid's crazy like that, right? She's just like, fuck it. I guess, yeah, you're right. I'll go somewhere else then. And then you can be like, hey, come to Kaer Morhen instead. And that's the end of the thing. But, this quest line is just, betrayal by the Pesta after the woman got eaten alive by rats in, this really fucked up bastardization of, Romeo and Juliet.
Mm.
That would be a fucked up Shakespeare play if Juliet drank the potion and was eaten alive by rats by the time Romeo got to her.
What if Andrzej Sapkowski wrote Romeo and Juliet?
I would not read it.
Same.
But yeah, like that, and then Kira seduces Geralt and fucks him over, and then eventually just, submits to him anyway because he's the main character, and he had or didn't have sex with her.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit.
It's also just the way I did the quest is I took the bones to Graham, and my reaction to it being a pesta that killed him, I was just kind of confused because, I understand what they're doing in a way, because it's oh yeah, by the way, she's actually evil, and it's just yeah, but why?
That was pretty much, I knew there was going to be some dumb bullshit, so I saved right before the dialogue to take her out, and I was just something stupid's going to happen, I want to see what it is, and I took the bones to him, and just went, oh, why? Why can't we just have one nice thing? God damn it. And that was basically my entire opinion on Act 1.
Yeah. Did we get any questions?
No, we didn't.
Ah, that's a shame.
Yeah, no, I don't know. We have kind of low viewership or listenership, and shit-talking The Witcher, probably not a good bid for more listeners.
Well, I think it's that, and it's me trying to say, well, I kind of like this, but yeah, you're maybe kind of right in some respects, so it's not great.
Yeah, we're a little waffly between the two of us.
Also, I am really happy with how this episode so far has turned out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's been an interesting discussion, but I think... I'm really saying, yeah, the podcast I do is totally really good. I'm not used to saying that.
Yeah. Also, we had kind of had to talk about this, but we could probably talk about it now, too. I'm not really, super sure we can sustain this for, an episode a month, and I'm not sure both that we'll have the time to, really sink our teeth into it in the next month because of Kingdom Hearts 3 in 3 days.
I have a week off after it comes out, so
good.
I have plenty of time.
That's good, because I've heard that the cutscenes are very long.
Ooh.
Someone didn't get to a save point for an hour after entering a world. Long.
Fucking hell.
Do you think the delays have just been lip-syncing this entire time?
Oh yeah, because they lip-sync it for the English voices as well, don't they?
Yep. And I really expect that because it's going to be on PS4 and a PS4 native game, it's going to have none of the kind of skimped out on generic talkie animation stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so everything... No, yeah, that's the thing I've heard, is everything in this game is fully voiced.
Oh man! That's... Oh.
There doesn't cut to, dialogue boxes anymore.
Dang. That's some Zestiria shit. And by that I mean, man, I want to play a Tales game too. God damn it, I just bought Vesperia Definitive. Anyway, yeah.
Because we're now talking about
other stuff.
I think this is a good point to end at.
Yeah.
We're both very excited for Kingdom Hearts, I guess.
Yeah, and also, I in particular don't know if I want to have to, pace myself on this game and or discuss it piece by piece, or at all. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think it's kind of a we'll see how we feel kind of deal.
I think if nothing else, the least we'll cover next time, which will probably be a couple months from now, if not like 3, will probably be the rest of Act 1, just so we can lay that out on the table. So like, but like, I'm not quite sure how much energy I'm going to have to put into this game in particular when it's just been kind of like depressing punch after depressing punch.
Yeah, and like Val, like you are not enjoying yourself playing this game, and I don't think
I'm getting like the lizard brain like enjoyment of clearing out the map, but not like anytime I have to realize what I'm playing, I'm just kind of like, I could be playing anything else right now. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just like, as much as like we are engaging like critically like with this game, we don't necessarily like, if like I was considering not enjoying this game, I'd be having second thoughts as well, because it's not a short game as well. But again, we'll see how we feel. Yeah,
and also like we mentioned, this is a very playable game. It's also the most accessible, especially if you've been listening to the podcast and get the gist of the rest of the series. It's definitely something you can pick up and basically understand what's going on anyway. But if you're listening to this, we don't really need to like sink a whole lot of time into like saying don't play this game. It's just like, it's like $20 if you want to play it on PC or PS4 or Xbox One. It's there, and it's not super inaccessible like Witcher 1 kind of is for playing the game, and Witcher 2 can be at some points.
Yeah.
Just like, the largest part of this podcast was exploring the saga and the series and seeing and giving the context for Witcher 3 and seeing both whether that helped Sam enjoy the game more, and giving myself no out for like playing The Witcher 3, because like I've talked about this before. When I like bought Witcher 3, I was just like, I should play Witcher 1, and then I tried it and I bounced immediately, and I was just like, maybe I'll just play Witcher 2, and then I tried and bounced immediately, and having someone to like commiserate with over the books and the first 2 games was nice, but not as necessary. And I will say this, if we don't do any more podcasts after this, which we still might, I will still be writing about stuff. I think at some point I'll compile like a giant fucking synopsis list of all the side quests, just so like if you don't want to play it, you can still get kind of a gist of all the content of the game. But like I don't think it's really as necessary as covering the books and the first 2 games would be.
Oh, of course. And like my personal feeling is I want to, I mean, even if we don't continue the podcast, I'm still gonna keep playing Witcher 3.
Yeah. I still probably will too, just at a different pace and without the structure and priority of, I have a podcast to record on this in X days, which has been kind of draining.
Yeah.
As it always is. Like, I did 3 years of DGC, and that was, don't do that, folks.
To be fair, this is not like, I mean, DGC was like at times playing a game like this once every month.
Yeah, I looked at my old Hobonichi Techo, my planner from Hobonichi, it's Shigesato Itoi is one of the people responsible for that company. But I looked at my 2018 one, and this time last year we were playing Treasure of the Rudras, which was about as draining as Witcher is to me. And at least Witcher is like not outright fashy right now, because fucking Ridges definitely went there, and it did so with some really whack ass mechanics. It wasn't good.
The thing about Treasure of the Rudras is a game that sounds interesting because nobody's actually played it.
Yeah, that is a significant part. I feel like that is the mythos of the JRPG in the West, is some people who had bad opinions played games and nobody else could be bothered to play through them to have opinions of their own. I don't know.
I'd say finding The Witcher 3 is... I was in a shop today, and bizarrely, you can buy Witcher 3 in a box set with Dark Souls 3. Because, The Witcher 3 is, the console version is published by Namco Bandai here.
Oh, that would explain it. Who is it published by in the...
Warner Brothers.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, it's a Warner Brothers published game in the States, and it's self-published on PC. Online, I guess.
Because the thing that fucking gets me is, like, CD Projekt wasn't just happy with making really popular games, they also had to make their own fucking distribution platform.
Yes.
And I'm still going to get... if nothing else, I'm going to do that fucking quest with the fucking DRM that you have to defeat with the good old Grimoire, or whatever the fuck.
Yes. I mean, like, CD Projekt's kind of existed as a publisher in Poland, so they were able to sort of build a library, so...
That is how they started, and why we joked that basically Witcher 1 was a fucking Neverwinter Nights clone.
Yes.
Also, a year ago in my planner, we were still doing this fucking podcast. Holy shit, this has been going on since, like, late 2018, or 2017.
Yep. I don't know.
Anyway, thank you for listening to Myth and Kin. This may be the last episode, but it may not. Look forward to the future. If nothing else, we can do a short little mini episode once the fucking TV show is out. Or the Netflix show.
What if it'd be very funny to me if this just ends up being so much to talk about, but it probably won't. It'll just be the stories from the books.
Yeah, we can talk about the fucking... how Henry Cavill is not Geralt at all. Oh man, that's gonna be a mess, and I'm gonna end up watching it, even if I don't want to, just because there's a part of my brain's gonna be like, what? Consume all The Witcher. Do it!
No, I'm getting into rambling now, so I think that's it. Bye, everyone!
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. I'm Sylvan Flux on Twitter. You Samuel Howard on Twitter. Goodbye, good luck, and fuck the writers of this game.